Salvete discipuli. This video is exercise 72 and 73. I'm going to do 3 sentences from 72 where there are Latin to English sentences, and 73, 2 that are English to Latin. Here's where we are in the book. We saw the 5th declension, got some new words and some new derivatives. Last video was on exercise 71. Or no, sorry, last video was just it was not on exercise 71. Last video was just the new notes. And so we're skipping right ahead to these 2 exercises here. There's the short little review thing, but other than that, we're on to something different. We are out of the declensions at that point. So just wanted to show you where we are in the book. And we're going to begin. First, let me pause the video here because I think I need. I need something else to write with, I think. Otherwise, I like to have a different color pen. Okay, here we go. Okay, milites in Actiae erant. And so we want to identify subject and verb. This is our verb, obviously. What is our subject? Well, in takes the ablative most of the time, but sometimes it can take the accusative, as we saw recently. Either way, neither of those are the nominative. Could this be the nominative? It's the only other word. Yeah, milites could be the nominative. And so let's just double check. Erant, we have a plural verb. So that means whatever our subject is has to be multiple people, and this is multiple people. So I think that checks out. I think our subject is the soldiers. And the soldiers were. So erant means were. So the soldiers were where? They're not coming into any place, so this isn't an in plus the accusative situation. This is an in with the ablative, and Actiae is the ablative ending for the 5th declension. So this is a 5th declension word, Acies, Actiae. Okay, the soldiers were in the, and what does that word mean? Always go back to your book if you don't know what that word means. Find the word in the vocab, Acies, Actiae, battle line. The soldiers were in the battle line. Makes perfect sense. Romani Christianos propter fidem occiderunt. Subject and verb again. Well, our verb is there. It's a plural verb. What is our subject? Our subject, we're looking for a nominative plural. Plural. Oh, that's not a nominative ending. That looks like an accusative ending. Propter fidem. Okay, propter takes the accusative, and that looks like an accusative. This looks like it's our subject. Romani is the Romans. So this means the Romans occiderunt. What is occiderunt? Where did we see occiderunt? So occiderunt means killed. I'm not going to make you wait for me to find it, but I am kind of curious, where did that show up? I don't really recall a place where occiderunt showed up, and I'm just kind of looking for it. Oh, there it is on page 47. Occiderunt showed up on page 47 in the 3rd declension. Okay, so this means the Romans killed. Who did the Romans kill? So the Romans killed somebody who's going to be in the accusative. Because if you kill somebody, you verb them, right? And so that means they're the direct object. That means they need to be in the accusative case. Well, fidem is accusative, but it's accusative because propter, right? Propter takes the accusative. This is also accusative. This is the actual direct object of the sentence. Just because this is in the accusative doesn't mean it's the direct object. The reason it could be the accusative is because propter, the word propter demands that the next word be accusative. So the Romans killed the Christians on account of faith. So the Romans killed the Christians for their faith. And the last one from exercise 72, milites spem victoriae in virtute posuerunt. Posuerunt is a new word for us in our recent vocab. That means they put or they placed. So that shows up for us brand new in the fifth declension vocab list. So who put or who placed? Let's look for a plural, a nominative plural. Victoriae, that could be nominative plural. Could the victories have placed something? Milites, that's also could be nominative plural. So if the first word in the sentence checks out, if it looks nominative, and it's the right number, right? Plural verb, plural. It's also the beginning. It probably means it's the subject. So the soldiers put, what did they put? The soldiers put the thing that's in the accusative. Victoriae, that's not accusative. In virtute, that's not accusative. Spem. So they put hope. So milites put hope. The soldiers put hope. Any more about hope? Victoriae. So they put hope victories. This could also be genitive singular. They put the hope of victory. Now that makes the most sense to me. The soldiers put the hope of victory. And it doesn't make sense to say to victory either, because that could be a dative ending, but that wouldn't make sense here in the sentence. So the soldiers put the hope of victory in virtute, so in virtue. Or in bravery, because virtue, or the word virtus, virtutis, has several meanings, as your book says. And if we're talking about Roman soldiers, it's probably like, they're probably not thinking, oh, you're going to win this battle because you're virtuous. No, they're probably thinking you're going to win this battle because you're brave. So I think it probably makes more sense to say bravery than virtue. But if you put virtue for your homework, you're not going to be wrong. All right. Switching to exercise 73, the Senate does not praise the affair. For this, you're going to want to have your book handy because but now that we're in the fifth declension and about to end the fifth declension, you got a lot of vocab lists from throughout the book and a lot of different declensions. And so seeing the sentences in English, when you see them in Latin, you kind of remember what things mean. When you're seeing them in English, it's more often that you're going to need to go back and look for a word in your vocab that means that thing. Okay? So the Senate, we didn't see all that long ago. It's a fourth declension word, senatus, senatus, and it's the subject of our sentence because it's the thing that didn't praise. So there's our subject, and not praise is our verb. And so when we have a not with our verb, we want to put that non all the way at the end of the sentence with our verb. So let me start with the senatus. Okay, did not praise. We have the Senate taken care of. Not praise, we're going to save till the end. So now we just need to say the affair. And what is the affair? So keep in mind that Often words have multiple meanings in your vocab list, and sometimes it's easier for students to just kind of fixate on one. Res rei means the thing. That's the easy one to remember that res rei means. It also means the affair. So we're going to use this res rei. Remember, our stem of res rei is just the letter R. So it's senatus non laudat. Does not praise. What goes on this, though? Since they're not verbing the affair, since they're not praising the affair, not verbing the affair, that affair should be in the accusative. Res, rei, rem, rem, rem. Senatus, rem non laudat. The Senate does not praise the affair. And the last one, this one's probably the best sentence out of all 5 of these. This has got the most going on. The Gauls made an attack on the battle line of the Romans. And again, subject and verb. So the verb is made an attack on the battle line and of the Romans. Those are just prepositional phrases, right? You don't even need to include those. The Gauls made an attack. That's the backbone of the sentence. So the Gauls, we have to go all the way back to the second declension. Gaul is Gallus Galli. Remember, a Gaul person, right, is a Gallus. So Galli would be our subject, the Gauls. Made an attack. And so the Gauls made is the verb. Now, made, we may not remember, we may say, I don't think I ever remember the word made. Well, what we did learn is we learned attack, which was impetus in the fourth declension. And we learned that when we learned in with the accusative in the fourth declension, we also learned in our very next page, fecerunt, which was they made, but we have to remember, if you make an attack upon the enemy, that's an example where you would do in plus the accusative. So impetum is impetus, but in the accusative, and so the thing that they made was an attack. So we want that attack, that impetus, to be really impetum, right? So Galli impetum fecerunt would be the Gauls made an attack. But we want to say more than just the Gauls made an attack. Galli impetum fecerunt. We want to say the Gauls made an attack on the battle line of the Romans. And so when we do the on the battle line, we're going to use in with the accusative because they made it upon the battle line, right? They're actually verbing the battle line too. They're not just verbing an attack, making an attack. They're actually verbing the battle line by attacking it. So we're going to use in plus the accusative, and then we're going to say of the Romans. We're going to use a genitive plural for of the Romans, right? We're going to use a genitive plural to say of the Romans. We're going to use in plus the accusative for on the battle line, and then we're going to stick fecerunt on the very end. Let's see if we can fit that here. So Galli impetum on the battle line, we're going to use in plus the ablative. In, what is the word? Battle line, again. It's from our fifth declension. It's acies, aciei, and in plus the accusative, so we're going to be aciem, aciem. Impetum in aciem. Galli impetum in aciem. That's on the battle line of the Romans. So the Romans being people, the stem is Roman, and it's of the Romans, so we want the genitive plural. So us e o that's the singular side. Eorum Aurum, Romanorum, of the Romans. So Galli, impetum in acem Romanorum, and then we're going to stick our fecerunt, made. So the Gauls, an attack upon the battle line of the Romans made, or the Gauls made an attack upon the battle line of the Romans. All right, that is nearly half of these two exercises. I think you guys should be able to do the rest. Right, valete.